The Sim Racers Performance Guide, your guide to race setup, strategy, driver performance. Dive in deep, learn about suspension, aero, braking, drivetrain, with a 77-page manual packed full of hours of video tutorials as well.
Hello, I'm Jack Nichols and welcome to
Who's going to break his 5th world title?
Oh, he's done it! And look at these two go! Eoin is going to do it! His first victory!
The World Championship is done. What a race it's been!
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Formula SimRacing World Championship category. It's time for Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and the 5th round of the World Championship here in 2026. After the Baku round a few weeks ago, the optimism, I'm sure, will be felt in the young Grankvist camp, but I'm sure the ability to refresh and think again before we cross the halfway line towards the end of the championship will certainly bring the best out of these drivers. So my name is Eoin Harmon, and I'm very, very pleased to have David O'Reilly alongside me in the commentary booth, and Remco Zeuuw is broadcast director. So David, we've just begun the qualifying session. How are you keeping?
Yeah, very well, very well. It's going to be an exciting 70 laps. It's amazing how many laps it is here, really, because it seems like a longer and more eventful lap than it is, but it's not so long. So 70 of them. And looking forward to some very, very tight racing. The championship's tightening up at the top after we've had a debut win from Loic Mounier, I think, last round in Baku.
Jan Grankvist, sorry.
Jan Grankvist, sorry. And yeah, it's tightening up at the top and looking forward to an exciting afternoon of racing. We've got live real-world weather, including the chance of rain. And one of the 3 forecasts I looked at did predict some rain. So you never know.
Yeah, that's the mystery of it all. Montreal does have a unusual climate compared to other circuits we go to across the world here in FSR. So yeah, we will have the British Grand Prix, of course. That's the next round. So that's definitely a mini climate all to itself, as I'm sure many of us are familiar with. And of course, Spa-Francorchamps as well on 12th of July will also bring confusion with the weather reports. But here, it's all about the end of May here in 2026 and the Canadian Grand Prix. So the fact that we've had 3 winners in the first 4 rounds definitely has brought an unusual twist to the season compared to what I experienced last year, with world champion Mark Schluter dominating just over 50% of the races. So poor old Mark has been off the podium for the last 3 rounds in a row, and Alex Zeuuw, the championship leader, as we saw, has lost his lead almost. It's down to 2 points. And he's been off the podium the last 40 days or so. So he wants to get back on top as soon as possible. And we're seeing now on live broadcast the first flying laps coming in. An advantage so far, David, belongs to Mark Schluter. Let's see if he can round it off with the provisional pole.
Yeah, well, he's certainly been finding some great form, and I was just hunting through the results, and Mark has pulled off a couple of second-place finishes. Certainly came second in Australia, 2 fourths, and then had a bit of contact, a bit of a scenario in Baku, which had him end up in 8th. But Mark has certainly shown some great form, and really, I think any of these top 6 drivers are capable of winning this World Championship. And we've got, including today, we've got 60% of the season left to run. So any of these 6 guys can compete. And traditionally, we see very, very close qualifying results here in Canada.
Yeah, we see Petar Burliak cross the line to set his first lap, and their Croat is one of the drivers in form as well, with 2 third places in a row. So there's no doubting his calmness under pressure to secure consistent results. It's just a matter of breaking through to become a race winner in 2026. That's his last remaining sort of target if he wants to actually become one of those 6 contenders for the World Championship, with Lehou's lead down to 2 points. But of course, Brashok isn't too far behind either, just 8 points off. Burliak himself, 12 points off, I should say. And then Burliak is 14 off. So it is so close. A race win could make all the difference depending on the results. On board with Zeuuw now for his second time lap. He's going to try and take the curvature of the start finish straight as best he can. To the first chicane he'll go. Got to make sure he meets the apex, not once but twice. It looks pretty good to me. 3 and 4 on board. Frenchman attacking those curbs to the right and the left very aggressively. So that's the way you've got to do it. Another left-right combo coming up now. So a little bit down his personal best to 19.3. Schluter is purple again in 19.2. So the narrow margins here at Montreal will definitely test these drivers. The barriers will, just as I say, the barriers will meet anyone who makes a mistake. And Zeuuw has battered that car into thousands of pieces, but he'll have to pick himself up and try again. But Schluter, no concern at the moment, just a little bit down in Sector 2 as he'll now head on to the back straight. It used to be the start-finish straight in the origins of this venue, the semi-permanent circuit here in Montreal. So this used to be the start-finish straight, but now it's a little bit further down the road, David. So let's see if Schluter can dig in and get another pole position improvement. Oh no, he hits the wall of champion! He hits the wall of champions appropriately in some respects. Well, that's going to be a painful hit, and he'll have to repair that damage.
Yeah, it's a little bit like Baku in the sense that we've got some pretty big curbs and you've really got to gamble if you want to get the type of lap time that these guys are searching for in a World Championship qualifying session. They have absolutely got to push for every last inch. And the pressure is on. You talked about Peter Burliak earlier. He's looking a little ominous because he started the season with 2 fifth places. He's in the last 2 rounds, he's come 3rd twice. So there's a guy who's coming to terms with the car, this season's vehicle, and he's very experienced here at Canada. So I think anyone here who's not feeling pressure or says they're not feeling pressure isn't telling the truth. And Alex Zeuuw, for example, looked absolutely untouchable over the first 2 rounds, but round 3 and round 4, his result was 5th place. So it's closing up and it's turning around a bit, the form. So it's going to be intriguing to see who comes out on top here in Montreal.
Yeah, so we've just seen Zeuuw hit the wall again. This time it was out of turn 4, so that means he has to tell a pit and try again. But we also had 7 arrows on screen for a moment with William Snowden, and he improved by 1 position. But unfortunately, he's lost back down again, and Nandor Marza has reacted to what happened to him, and he gains his P10 back. Now Jan Grankvist, the cheerful driver that he is, now that he has that victory in his pocket. A long time coming, I'm sure he'll argue. No doubt he'll have to make sure he doesn't let the success get to his head. He needs to keep working hard to make sure this World Championship bid is realistic for him. It's no good winning just 1 race and being off the podium in the next one. So here he goes through the first 7 corners down towards turn 8. He'll go now. And now braking underneath the ridge section. And yeah, it's very neat and tidy. So he'll get a sector 2 split just before the braking zone into the hairpin. And he's green again, so there's a front row opening for the other ALM MV car here. David, if you can just stay calm for the final chicane.
Yeah, looking very competitive with 2 minutes 18 left on the clock. Anybody wants to get out and do another lap, they've got time. If they exit the pit lane anytime in the next minute or so.
And Grankvist does it. Takes apart Alex Zeuuw's first banker lap, and he's on the front row, just a 10th or 1300th, he's only be precise, over Schluter there. Burliak, going to tune in with him again. He's green in Sector 1 at the moment. Alex Zeuuw also is. Snowden and Elikez are as well. So lots of improvements, but unfortunately Petar feels like it's not worth continuing this lap. He needs to get back on circuit immediately so he can get the outlap done in time. We switch back now to Zeuuw, who's completed Sector 2, a little bit down on his personal best, but it's still on target to react to Grankfist. Just checking out his splits, 19 to 21.6. Just 2 seconds. That was his best. So yeah, Alex is just shy of it, but if he can get through it, no, he can't. Another enormous impact on the wall of champions, and there'll be no recovering that one. It's 3 mistakes too many, and he's just pushing a little bit too hard in the qualifying. So the door is open, perhaps for Brashok or Sux or Burliak to improve and take over 3rd position. But Zeuuw, you can tell, I know he said Bahrain was his worst track on the calendar, so he's glad to get that one out of the way in the P5. But certainly the mistake he made at Azerbaijan was telling, and the pressure is certainly building upon the Frenchman. Munier stays P7 at the moment after crossing the line. Just a minor improvement in Sector 3, but not enough to actually gain any places. And now Brashok, here he goes down to turns 8 and 9. He's got to dig very deep, or else he will not improve anywhere. Oh, he does hit the wall, so this lap is now abandoned, David.
They are very seductive, these walls here in Canada, that is for sure.
Yeah, and with 13 valid lap time set, we're hoping Amine Suisi can get to the server in time, even if it's just to start from pit lane or however else it needs to be dealt with for an invalid qualifying time. So 13 cars with a time set, which means that if you can just get to the finish of this Grand Prix, then you will score a point no matter how far back you are, as long as it's within the classified 90%. So you can be 4 laps down and you'll still get your points, no bother on you. For this 13 car grid at the moment. Oh, and another wall of champions victim here. It's Zeuuw, and he will have to stay with P6. I think only Petar Burliak is capable of beating him here. He's not improved in Sector 2. Grankfist himself not improving in the first 2 sectors either. So Schluter's happy with his lot. It's up to Grankfist to take pole position here. It doesn't look very likely, and yet he's given up on it, I'm afraid. So it's Burliak, the last car on circuit to set a time. Here he goes.
I think Loic Munier might have just jumped up a position or 2 as well, because he found a couple of tenths in that final lap, which is impressive.
And a very strong final sector there for Burliak, puts him 6th on the grid. So I completely missed Munier's last gasp improvement there. He has pipped his countryman Zeuuw onto the 3rd spot on the grid. So poor old Alex made 3 significant errors, and unfortunately his banker lap just wasn't enough on its own. So there we go, Schluter, as Ed Hunter says in our YouTube chat, he's back on top, and no better time to do it. The championship is still to be won by any of these drivers, and if the world champion can put the most disappointing weekend of his most recent career behind him, then yeah, this is ideal situation to get back in the title hunt. He's still within a race victory of getting closer to Zeuuw. So let's summarize our grid for tonight's Canadian Grand Prix, with Mark Schluter back on pole position for Rd.5 SimRacing team. Jan Grankfist is the better of the LM MVs tonight. He's going to line up in 2nd place. Loic Munier with a late surge to P3 for MV Conquest, and then Zeuuw and Brashok complete our top 5. So Osman will be pleased to have a car in the top 5. Petar Burliak is 6th in the other MV Conquest. Zeuuw gets optimal hosting at 7th position. Lucas Murnau, Mr. Unlucky at the moment, he's got P8, so he complements his teammate well. George Zalogianis is 9th in the sister Rd.5 SimRacing team car, and Nandor Marza for GE Invictus is 10th. Our remaining 3 cars which set times in the session were Matthew Toussaint, 1.3 seconds off pole for the other GE Invictus, and then we've Severn Arrows primary team with William Snowden in 12th, and Saba Elikas in the engineering subdivision of Severn Arrows. He's going to start 13th, and we're just hoping that Suisi can make it to the Grand Prix at the last gasp second. He will be 14th if he can actually participate. If not, we will have 13 runners, David. And knowing how difficult qualifying was, then yeah, this track will be merciless to any mistakes. yeah, well, admin work is underway to make sure the real road, etc., and all the other data is collected so we can have our main event run smoothly. So we'll reflect on that qualifying session. So many mistakes. I haven't seen that many in a qualifying session before in FSR, so that will definitely bring this race into life. The weather looked very, very nice, it has to be said. There was no threat of rain whatsoever. The sunshine was nice and bright, so yeah, it's all a matter of the final preparations. Everyone has to get their setups in order, and then we can go racing. And we now have a brief opening to show our track guide, which will bring us through the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve onboard camera footage for our hot lap. So we'll bring that to you right now.
Hi guys, welcome to this track preview as we bounce around Montreal. It's one of those tracks that's a real tricky one to set up for, as you need 0 wings but also a lot of mechanical grips to make it through the chicanes and make it through tight corners like these and exits where you have to save the rears. And then corners like these where you have to cut as much as you can but stay away from the walls. There's a reason we get a lot of safety cars here in real life. Then this corner has a really tricky exit as well. And then we get something that resembles a straight, but really all it does is help you slipstream a bit closer, which is handy because we get through one of these corners where you have to figure out how to bounce off the curbs, get a bit of slipstream here, and then we head into a hairpin where, yeah, maybe you can overtake, but often it's better to be patient and wait for the even longer straight, because this is the one you have set up your car for with very low wings. Fun fact, the Canadian billionaire Lawrence Stroll has bought a stake in Williams for his son, an entire F1 team for his son, and I've asked him to buy my YouTube channel for $1 million for his son. I'm currently waiting for a response. And then, by the time I'm done talking and you've not hit the wall of champions, that will complete a lap for you at Montreal.
The SimRacer's Performance Guide, your guide to race setup, strategy, driver performance. Dive in deep, learn about suspension, aero, braking, drivetrain, with a 77-page manual packed full of hours of video tutorials as well.
And the warm-up session is just in its closing stage at the moment. So thank you very much to Tom Oldenmanger for providing that track guide for us. Very much appreciated. Definitely helps. Even if you've seen the Montreal circuit so often down the years, it hasn't changed a whole lot, in all honesty. Definitely the first 7 or 8 corners will be almost identical to how they've been in the past. It's maybe just the last chicane that will have opened up a little bit in recent years, as we've just seen, perfectly demonstrated there by Janos Brashok. He will set his first valid time of our warm-up session on soft tyres. Actually, no, that was an outlap, so my bad. I suppose, yeah, we know Baku, the hard tyre was pretty much useless there. There's absolutely no need to run the hard back. But this track lends itself to general health of the tyres. What's the brakes? You've got to be concerned about your braking. You've got to be considerate to your brakes every now and again to make sure they do complete the race distance. So if you want to gamble on a hard tyre strategy, then you're better off doing it perhaps in the middle of the Grand Prix, so you have a chance to stretch your legs a little bit. But as David and I were discussing in the build-up, the fact that the pit lane entry is very short compared to most other circuits. You can just head in straight ahead of you. You don't have to slow down until the actual speed limit line, so that gives yourself a rapid entry and the short nature of it will help you back out. And of course, you take away turn 1 entirely, so you have a chance just to enter turn 2 and get yourself back to racing. In that regard, there you go, perfect example once again from Janos. So thank you so much for demonstrating 2 examples for me in this warm-up session there, Janos. There you go, you see pit lane very, very short, and you miss a corner entirely, so that gives you an advantage in potentially the corner exit speed heading into turn 2. So that could play its difference come the Grand Prix time. So, if there's any interjection required, then jump on in, David, whenever you're ready. So,
yep, we're just about ready to send the guys off, just giving them a last-minute briefing and asking them to be safe on lap 1 and especially sector 1. And that if it does rain, they're no longer required to use 2 dry compounds, which is the normal requirement. So just answering a couple of questions.
Yeah, the Janssen Binz is here. So Janssen is on circuit, or at least was on circuit. So that does give us a 14th car if Amine is unable to make it back to the sim on time. So welcome into the Grand Prix, Janssen. It's great to have you. I know his best result of the season was Bahrain with the P8, so he'll want to make sure that he's not too rusty, as he was absent from the Azerbaijan Grand Prix and he did not make it to the finish at the Japanese Grand Prix. So that means Janssen, he's a little bit not quite sharp compared to some of our drivers who have attended all 4 previous rounds. I'm sure he has the knowledge to pick up any pieces that come his way. So yeah, weather remains nice and sunny for now, but it can all change, David. So are the drivers ready to go?
Yep, they'll be lining up on the grid now. And I did hear you mention brakes. It's very much like Baku situation, low wing. So a lot of load on the brakes into these very sort of slow chicanes and corners. No long sustained corners here. And the brake disc standard gauge is about 3 centimeters or 30 mil. They lose a third of that here. And that is if they're using full cooling, maximum cooling. So they've either got to go maximum cooling and a little bit thicker brake disc to make the brake survive 70 laps here.
Absolutely. So our tire data is not up to date yet, so don't take that graphic for absolute fact just yet. We will, of course, bring you all the update information when we can get it. As information that rolls along. Mark Schluter, definitely, he'll be feeling right at home to be on pole position as the defending world champion. Certainly the pressure of the crown has perhaps played a little bit of a factor on him. He's better to be the hunter than the hunted. Now, here's a look at our grid for the race itself. Schluter, Brankvist, Munier and Zeuuw first to 4th. Then we've Brashok, Berliak, Sux and Murnau in the rows 3 and 4. And then Zalojanis and Marza complete the top 10. Then we've Matthew Toussaint and William Snowden ready to go 11th and 12th. Saba Elekes, the last driver to set a valid lap time, he's 13th. Amine Suisi, his status is still to be determined. But Janssen Binz is P15, who is active on the circuit right now. So that will let him compete from the back of the grid. And so far, if he can finish the race within the 90% distance, then he will get 2 points guaranteed.
I've got a feeling that this might be Mark Schluter's first pole of the season. I'll double check that.
Yeah, Zeuuw got 2 poles at least, wasn't it?
Because Mark's been doing some great climbs from sort of P6, P8. But I think this is his first pole, which must feel fantastic.
Yeah, I'm quite confident Zeuuw got at least 2 of the pole positions. So I'm sure someone in YouTube chat will be happy to provide a correction if needs be. So yeah, I don't recall Schluter on pole position. It definitely wasn't the case in Baku. That was Munier, I believe it was. So this is a massive opportunity for the world champion to get back in his mojo and perform to the best of his ability. So yeah, Munier was on pole in Azerbaijan. He's He's P3 this time. He snatched that position off Zeuuw. Here we go. Here come the lights, everybody. So stay tuned. Take a deep breath. And we go racing. The clutches are released in unison. And Zeuuw will defend the lead into turn 1. But watch out as Munoz down the inside for turn 1. But turn 2 comes the outside. So this should be Grankvist able to defend. Zeuuw safely enough in P4. Burliak completes the top 5, heading into the 3rd and 4th corners. Got to be mindful on high fuel and cold tyres about the car's behaviour over the bumps and curbs. And the 3rd chicane of the lap. And Zeuuw, we can see him P8, very good start. So Janssen Vince up in position already at the back of the grid. Nando Marzan, George Janis staying 9th and 10th. And in between all that, it's Brashok and Murno. And another heavy hit the curbs there. Vince with a mission here. He's fresh and ready to go without qualifying in his locker. So he'll be pushing as hard as he can. Keep the momentum going. So now lap 1 has, with a blink of an eye, almost completed. But it's the final chicane to decide if anything shall change here, David. First is through, no problem. Grankvist, Munier, Zeuuw and Burliak look fine, so we can now race with the lap 2 and see how things develop. So we have medium tyres for the top 5 and the softs for Brashok. Now backing them up. And the medium compound tyres. Yeah, definitely a logical choice here. Medium should work well around these street circuit elements of Montreal.
Yeah, well, one of the things about the soft tyre here, a little bit like Baku, the tyres are working very, very hard because once again with low wind, the aero grip is not adding to the mechanical grip, so the tyres are working super, super hard, like the brakes are, and the softs can tend to overheat here. So it won't surprise me to see a couple of people perhaps double stint the medium and just do one on the softs, which seems a bit counterintuitive. But if they do that, that would be the reason, that they're just feeling stronger and more confident in the medium.
Very much so. So our first turn of DRS is coming now. It must be within 0.7 of a second or closer to your opponent's front to get a turn of the DRS rear wing. And it's a double activation at the end of the lap, so you get 2 chances to make some passes. But at the moment, it's Brashok in the Automale who's made a move. Burliak has lost out there, so a new member for our top 5 club. And that's Brashok. That momentum he's built up recently. Brashok is still a top contender despite being off the podium. Baku got the P4, so it's still very good. And he's within, I think it is 8 points of the championship lead, so he's very much in contention. And Zeuuw at the moment, he should still be on top of Grankvist. Yeah, it's all about whether or not Grankvist can finish 2 places better than Zeuuw to make sure he can actually become the new championship leader.
Now Brashok will be feeling a little bit of pressure insofar as he's on the soft. The guys, the group ahead or on the medium, sorry, go ahead.
Yes, it's Zeuuw down the inside with the soft tyres. And Burliak is just waiting probably for the inevitable here. There we go. He's pulling clear. That must be Murno. He's trying to catch up to Burliak. Yeah, there you go. Good heavy hits.
Big hit on the final, the final chicane on that massive sausage curb. That was a brave move, and I'm sure his spine would be feeling that if that was a real car, not a virtual car.
Oh, for sure, yeah. He definitely went all commitment there. No doubt in his mind what he wanted to do. Keep pushing now and put Burliak under additional pressure. And heading through turn 7 right now. This can be a misleading corner. You can see the camera angle doesn't tell the full story about how these cars can suddenly understeer and meet their doom in that left side barrier. Burliak still defending well here. Our packs have been split into 2 segments here. We've got 1st to 9th all within 6 seconds of each other, and William Snowden in 10th place has his own duty to make sure the battles behind are all nice and clean, so he has the head of the second queue.
Zeuuw says DRS on Burliak and has taken him prior to entry to the final chicane. But Peter Burlack, Zoltan took huge air again over that sausage curb. He's not going to get to do that 70 times and get away with it.
No, that suspension will eventually cave in if he does that too often. So that's a nice return serve there from Sux to get ahead of Burliak. And of course, yeah, the GE Invictus cars are both stuck behind Snowden at the moment. We'll see how those cars develop in our radar on the bottom right of your screen. See how those cars, just a little bit cut adrift at the moment, will compare later in this race. And we rejoin the podium fight, and 3 cars within 1.2 seconds of each other. So Mounier, one of the best drivers not to have won a race so far this season. He's still a contender. Of course, that DNF in Bahrain was quite heavy to his main ambitions, but of course he's still within about 20 points or so, it's nearly 22 points or so of the championship lead, so he's not out of it just yet, and he can get himself another podium. That'll help his cause greatly. For the final chicane they go.
Loic,
nice
by the way, got that winning feeling a couple of days ago. He was in a fairly big Indy 500 competition race on the same platform, rFactor 2, with quite a lot of notable drivers, including former FSR World Champions, and Loic won that race. So the question we asked him when he arrived today was, is he going to be okay turning right after doing the Indy 500? But he seems to be doing quite fine.
Yeah, he hasn't forgot all his bearings now that he's headed north across the border from the United States into virtual Canada. So here we go, Janssen Bintz now. We're going to give him another bit of coverage now, as he didn't get to perform in qualifying. So Matthew Toussaint in the Invictus Motorsports car there, just defending as best he can, making sure he can keep up with his teammate. So Fernando Marza, his soft tire strategy can actually pay dividends in the next couple of laps, when the soft tires should be at their peak condition. And back to Loic Mounier now. He has turned right and left again, but unfortunately this big DRS train is not going to lend itself very well to an overtake, because Grandfist can get the same benefit he does. Mark Schluter lapping very well at the moment. His best was at 112.8, but his most recent lap was at 113.2. So that's still very, very strong on high fuel, and still tyres that have maximum pressure to go. And is that Amine Suisi on circuit? Yeah, it must be, because who else could it be? Yes, it is Amine. Well done. He's made it to the Grand Prix.
He made it home from the airport and jumped into the sim rig. So God bless him.
Yeah, but he can't afford to get lapped any more than he will. So he's already 5 laps down. He's going to be 6 laps down in just a moment with these blue flags. So if my maths are right, I suppose about 63 or 64 laps will guarantee 90% distance covered. I'm sure we can double check that for you. But to get the championship point for 15th, he's got to stay probably 7 laps or less in this race. He's going to go straight to pit lane. Probably his tires are so cold, having been idle in the garage for so long. So it's better just to get into the pits and try from absolute scratch, or else maybe just want to do a demonstration lap. We'll see what the plan is for 7 Arrows.
Well, certainly Thomas Lenz, who is our technical maestro and he's part of the backbone of FSR. He's just typed one word when he saw Eoin enter his car. He's just typed one word: legend.
Yeah, that's the spirit of the race. I know we have that at endurance races most often. But yeah, that's the perfect example. He needed help from his family to make sure his sim rig and his computer were all set up and ready for him, just to jump in and prepare himself. I don't know how much preparation he would have done on his holidays, but I can't imagine it's that much. So just make sure he stays within the exit blend line. He should be absolutely fine and ready to go. So no need to do service. Just want to make sure everyone lapped him, and he can just get on with his own race. Oh, look at this from Janssen Bintz, and a cut the corner for the other 7 Arrows. Eliquez has missed the corner there, but it won't make a difference as there was no advantage gained. But anyway, Toussaint is out of the race. That's actually something to point out. Yeah, Toussaint has retired for Invictus Motorsports. So we've lost one car already, which means the final championship point is now lost. There won't be anyone claiming that one tonight. And here comes Lucas Murno. Bit of a wiggle there for Berliak, and he's going to understeer, so that will be a position gained for Murno, the Brazilian. And George Zalesyanis has picked up the same rubble from the tarmac there, so poor old Berliak has lost out 2 places. And I suppose that's fair enough because he couldn't take the corner for whatever reason, so yeah, it's only fair he lost those places.
I'm just looking back at Tucson to see if I can figure out what happened for you.
Oh, we got a replay here from Remco. He's through the next chicane, 8 and 9. From just while we're watching, oh, it must be disconnection. So it just happened immediately. He disappeared with the disconnection, so that's one credit to see it. We're watching Janssen off the top, and we just realised there was a car gone. And now here's the rear view camera from Berliak, and yeah, he probably will say, yeah, there's a bit of contact on my rear left tyre, and that meant I couldn't turn into the corner correctly. So that does make a more interesting case for race control to deal with that matter. But the rules had to be respected by Berliak. He took the second corner with a bit of a shortcut, and he understeered wide anyway. So yeah, I suppose he'll just have to regain those places and try and win an appeal later on if he feels that was an unfair touch on his tyre. But, yeah, the condition of that tyre looks to be okay. There's no risk of a puncture or anything like that. And Brashok is now the fastest car on soft tyres, but it might not be forever, of course. Zeuuw is on that same strategy in the other Timonal team. So let's see how he goes. He's going to head to the hairpin, David.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see what they do with the guys that are running softs. So the giveaway will be if they go deeper than, say, 20 laps or so, which would indicate they're going for a one-stop. But I just don't see that making a whole lot of sense. The two-stop works pretty well here. As you touched on before, total pit lane transit time is 16 seconds. And when you divide 70 into 16, it comes out with a very small number, but less than quarter of a second per lap to be on fresher rubber for the whole race. So can't quite see a one-stop being a clever move, but we'll certainly know by about lap 20. If we start to see even guys boxing off mediums around 22, that means they're going for a two-stop, and that's what my gut's telling me, and that's what the maths are telling me, that it should be a two-stopper.
Yeah, it makes sense for the two-stopper here. Plenty of laps.
Top five, 1.9 second group.
Wow, that is exceptional stuff here.
10 laps in.
Exactly, yeah, still very little to choose from in the top 5, but we saw Janssen Bintz in his World Champions. He ended up crashing, so his car was unable to continue, so that means he will not get his championship points on his cameo tonight. So it's a shame that Janssen has disappeared almost as soon as we've greeted him, and he will have to hopefully try again next time at the British Grand Prix. But now here's the Nogmanier's best chances lap here, 113.2, a small advantage gained on Schluter, but not enough to make the move. He's so close, David, but he's just needing that extra 10% to put the MV Conquest team into the lead here. Yeah, he's lost out in this first sector at the moment. We'll see for sure. Yeah, he's down half a second, so he's lost that advantage he worked so hard to pull in. So Schluter will just watch his mirrors to make sure the Frenchman doesn't get any closer again. You can probably tell the difference in setup here. Schluter's corner exit speed is very impressive on these chicanes, but Mounier, now that he has DRS, he's going to show much greater top speed.
Yeah, traction on exit, really critical here. A little bit different to Baku, because a lot of the time the car seems to be a bit crossed up here, but you're trying to get the power down. You talked before about, I think, these corner 6-7 or 7-8 complex where it's deceptive. It's quite a big change of direction. Or look, Mounier losing the back of the car there as he exits the final chicane. These boys are pushing so hard.
They are, and there's a look at Peter Burliak, he's made up one position back on George Zalogianis here. So George has one Grand Prix finish this season. That was at Bahrain, and it was a P9. So the Greek, if he can keep up this form, he has a healthy advantage at the moment. And Murno's out. Murno, something has happened, and it's another horrible bit of luck for him here. So Lucas Murno will be feeling gutted with that one. And that's the end of his competition. We'll have to see exactly what happened to the Automali driver. He comes down to the World Champions on his own at the moment, and it looks to be a disconnection there. Yeah, his lag is kicked in, and it probably ends up kicking him out sooner rather than later. So that's cost Murno yet again. How devastating.
So unfortunate. Lucas Murno seems to have really suffered an unreasonable share of bad luck. He fought back incredibly well in Baku after a very surprising contact in the castle section with another driver. Caught him totally unawares, a driver recovering to the circuit, but batted on and ended up in the points. So that was a brave drive. So very unfortunate for Lucas that he's just had a bit of bad luck again, technical luck this time.
Absolutely. So Automali have to console their driver yet again. 11 of our competitors remain on the lead lap. Hamane Suisi is not a factor. He just probably wants to get to the finish line after making a tremendous effort just to be here today after his holidays for the end of May. So we'll see if he can pick up a few points for his trouble. But back to the action now. Munier down in the first sector at the moment, but the second sector should perhaps equalise it a little bit yet. It's narrowly in favour of Schluter, but then the advantage will soon come. So an extraordinary camera shot there. We can see 5 cars in all. Here they all come across the river and the Casino Straight before the World Champions, and this looks to be the move. Look, Munier to the race lead before the final chicane. He's going to get the benefit of the DRS one more time. Schluter may be a little bit exposed, but now Alex Lahou down his inside, but not quite done yet. A bit of understeer from India. There's contact between the two French drivers, but Lahou has got a better exit, and he's gone for the race lead, David, into the next chicane 3 and 4, but not to be on this occasion. But poor old Schluter has done nothing wrong, but the DRS has finally paid dividends to Munier. He's got that Indy 500 victory behind him, and he's got the race lead for the first time all day.
Well, incredible bit of action. But remember, Mark Schluter's got the pace here, and he can have a great big handful of DRS and a bit of push to pass as well, as the well-worn phrase, the hunted becomes the hunter. Mark Schluter can say, yeah, I'll have a bit of that action, guys. He's certainly close enough to get himself some DRS.
Now we have a completely new dynamic as Schluter is able to fend off attacks for 14 laps, but now he's finally been dethroned. But Munier for the first time has to play defensive. He won't get the DRS benefit this time. Jan Krankvist, watching him as well. He's closing the gap slightly on Schluter. At the moment it looks like a period of mutual agreement between these top 5 drivers now that we've had our first major lead change. Who almost got there, which would have been massive for his ambitions to increase his championship lead after a couple of rounds. He ended up losing out to some contenders like Krankvist, of course, who's got 2 podiums, a second and a first after his 8th place at the Suzuka circuit there. So now we see Janos Brashok. The question will be for him, when does he have to come in for a tyre change to make this 2-stop strategy work? It could be maybe a 25 and a 55 strategy, for example. That could help him out in one respect. But of course, these medium tyre runners, I'm sure they'd be feeling confident they could go lap 30 on these tyres, for example.
Janos Brashok loves the soft tyre, and in Baku, I think it was Baku, he was amazing us by how much stint length he managed to get from the soft, but he was not quite as comfortable on the medium. And so when the shoe was on the other foot and the drivers around him switched to soft and he was on the medium, that was I think it was in a battle with Loic Munier, and the advantage Loic had on the soft over Janos on the medium was greater than it was the other way around. So Janos is super quick on the soft, can make them last for quite a long time. It'll be interesting to see if he's come to grips with the medium with his setup and with his practice for this round.
Yeah, so back in 2023, the soft tyre was absolutely no use at all to our drivers that wound up competing for the glory. So now things have changed in the last couple of years, so now the opportunity to go on hard tyres is probably not worth it to everybody except Amine Suisi, to be quite honest, who has started to make up the lost laps to those departed drivers. He's almost going to be in 12th place, so sooner rather than later, there he goes, trundling along with his teammates Snowden and Elikaz 10th and 11th at the moment, so he's let them go with blue flag, so he's just doing his own thing at the moment. There you go, you can see Elikaz. At the moment now, we can see DRS is open for Schluter, Grankvist and Brashok as they begin their 18th lap. No sign of these tyres giving up performance. And it's all much at the moment. And then things all sucks. Has completed a new fastest lap of a 1:12.299. So the soft tyres have perhaps the last lease of life in the next couple of laps before they definitely have to come off and be changed. So good job there from Zeuuw. He has another 4 seconds to gain on Zalogianis at this particular moment, but Optimal Hosting will be pretty pleased that Zeuuw driving as quickly as this in this segment of the race. So there you go, he's on his own at the moment, so he can take a risk or two before he has to come in for a pit stop.
So I didn't see Peter Burlak get ahead of Zoltan Sooks, because I remember Zoltan did pass Peter for position, and Peter of course on the medium, Zoltan Sooks on the soft, but I didn't see them swap back, so that's something I missed, but anyway.
Yeah, Burlak is on his own now. He had that battle to deal with, but now here we go, Alex Zeuuw. Pardon the interruption, we're now witnessing a third lead change, and it's Alex Zeuuw who has brought forth the latest shake-up here. So Munier, his time on top was very brief indeed compared to Schluter. Now Grankvist and Brashok, you can see how heavily he cut the corner there while still remaining in track limits. George Zalogianis pits, so our first pitter in the top 10 as Zeuuw Sooks pitted first, actually, that's what happened. So Zeuuw had pitted, I didn't quite notice there, but now Zalogianis has received some service and he will rejoin in P11 just ahead of the laps driver Suisi, so that's perfectly a-okay there. And there we go, nice set medium tyres to help the Rd.5 SimRacing team along for the ride.
So Burlak holding about a 7-second gap to the lead at the moment, so he's out on his own, but he's running at similar pace because he was 7 seconds away 2 or 3 laps ago. So he's matching them for pace. He only needs to see a couple of little mishaps or these guys fighting each other too hard and causing some negative results, and Peter will be back in it.
Matt Tucson has just informed us in our YouTube chat that his finishing streak of 21 Grand Prix in a row, the equivalent of 2 full seasons, has been destroyed out of his control. So I'm really sorry for Matthew there. He's got to start all over again next time out at his home race. So I'm so sorry, Matt. That is desperate. You did a great job. So yeah. It is hopefully your wish fulfilled there, just so we could give your side of the story, and that has nothing to do with you, and it's just so unlucky. But yeah, thanks very much for informing us there, Matt, and hope to see you again next time.
Nandor Master just leaving the pits to see a yellow flag. It looks like Xabo Likas has had an incident in Sector 1. He was parked on the side of the road, looking like he'd perhaps lost it coming out of turn 2. I'll go back down and see if I can spot what happened.
Here's Saba Eliket for 7 Hours Engineering. There we go, he's taken turn 2 just a little bit too heavily on corner exit, and that's destroyed his left side suspension. So 7 Arrows have lost a car that was competing for healthy points. So you can see there the understeer just chronic, and there's no rescuing that. And then eventually the jutting barrier there has shred his suspension apart there. So that means we're down to 10 lead lap car, and Zeuuw is just minding his own business. We will eventually get 11th place off his colleague in Severn Arrows. But Mark Schluter, I suppose he's still feeling a bit peeved that he's lost the lead, but it's a long way to go. Of course, he's very familiar with having to win races on strategy as well as on pace. So at the moment, he's in a reasonable position now that Axel Hu, the new contender for his throne, has taken the lead, and he's held on to it so far over Meunier. But Meunier looks to have gained a little bit of time before even DRS can activate. So David, here he goes, his first chance to return serve. Not quite enough this lap, but no doubt about it, they will keep dueling away as these medium tyres still have a healthy amount of tread left.
And the three lead runners within a second of each other, and Jan Rundqvist only 0.6 per second back behind them, so still running very, very close. And as is often the case in these races, the decisive action tends to happen late in the stint and around the time that they're changing tyres. So it'll be who makes what decision at the next round of pit stops. Will somebody go for a bit of a bold stint on softs? Will somebody run longer than everybody else and get great pace out of the medium? The strategy differences will start to unfold a bit over the next 3 or 4 laps.
One of our members of the top 5 fight, Janos Brashok, into the pits to get himself a set medium. So this is the target for everybody to deal with later in the lap, or later in the race, when he will get a great set of lap times, hopefully. Overtaking Zeuuw along the way, as he's of course pitted already, so a good undercut, it must be said, from Zeuuw. But Brashok should eventually catch him up and make it life difficult for our drivers 1st to 4th in the race. So they've got a worst case scenario drawn up here. If they can pit in 15 seconds start to finish, then yeah, they will maintain position. But Zalagianis has made this overtake stick on William Snowden, so he's overtaken a car that has yet to pit. So that's great news for Grounded SimRacing team here, knowing that they've got 2 cars running very competitively at the moment. And George has his eyes set on a new personal best result for this 2026 campaign. I know he has done very well in previous seasons, of course, pick up good results. So yeah, he wants to get 2026 off to a solid start as well.
So Janos has pitted off his softs and onto a medium. And I'll tell you what's interesting, we're talking about decisive things happening around the pit stops. The pit lane transit time here is 16 seconds according to my testing. Janos Brashok is 15.5 seconds from the lead and on a brand new set of mediums. So he is looking very much like pulling off an undercut, and other drivers are going to have to decide whether they're going to be brave and keep going or whether they're going to respond. So he was the first one, and we'll see what the responses are like.
Of course, yeah, it means that any mistakes from our drivers in 1st to 4th will be duly punished by Brashok, and will pick up their positions. As Ed Hunter says in the chat, it's a smart decision. If you're stuck at the bottom of the queue, why not just come in for a fresh set of tyres, get a bit of clean air, and try and reel in the gap that way. That definitely plays a positive role in your race. If you can't actually make moves with the DRS train, if you're stuck at the back, nothing is changing for you, so why not make the change yourself?
Janos down now to 14.3 seconds from the lead. So he is in the net lead, barring any errors. Next person, any of the leaders who hit Janos will be in the lead. Janos also has DRS on Zeuuw now. Nice, clean, easy pass very early on the big long home straight.
At Meunier, still half a second from the race leader Zeuuw. He's got to stay nice and tight here. new fast lap from Brashok. That's even better indicator of how he's doing. So he's really cutting into that advantage of those drivers he was dealing with earlier on. Munier 1/10 lost in the first sector compared to Zeuuw. That will be boosted by the DRS and heading towards the hairpin in just a moment. Schluter though is quite close, or he is close, so we'll see now how he conducts himself with the double DRS. He should be getting in a moment's time here. I think Munier have to watch his mirrors rather than go for broke in the battle for the victory here. So watching and waiting is the world champion, but he'll take the final chicane as normal. Oh, he does lose out on corner exit though. Munier was quicker. We can see now these medium compound tires are a little bit off their usual best, about a tenth or so down on their absolute premium. So it is a case of Brashok can overtake Petar Broliak, then yeah, he's home free to really build up the intensity for these drivers who are all trying for the victory. But so far, since Zeuuw took the lead from Munier, it's not been a seesaw battle. It has definitely been Zeuuw's segment of the race at the moment. And Grankvist, when will he be tempted to try and copy Brashok's strategy and maybe gain the advantage at about lap 50 or so? We'll have to wait and see.
Well, it's an intriguing one, isn't it? Because Janos Brashok is looking awesome at the moment, 12 seconds behind the leader. So that puts him in a net lead of about 4 seconds. But of course, the other guys will have a chance to come back at him. So it's a case of who's timed it best. Because it's lovely to be super quick. Go ahead.
It's like Munier in the pits, so rather than P4 pitting, stuck in the queue, it's P2 in the pits. So he's going to react very quickly here. He needs to change the soft tires post haste, and he's gone. He's nice and happy with the soft tires, but Janos Brashok will get the undercut here. There he goes. It's already a position lost for Munier. In some respects, with Zeuuw. He's doing his own thing at the moment, and he will be a challenge for Munier to overcome here on his softer, fresher soft tires. So Zeuuw pitted on lap 14, so those tires are starting. They will start to get on a little bit here, David. So I don't think Munier will struggle too much. But in this section 8-9 down to the hairpin, it's going to be a headache for Munier to deal with. So let's wait and see if he can make strides on the soft tires.
William Snowden just exiting the pits now in a fresh set of medians in 10th place.
P10 there for Snowden after his pit stop, so he's comfortable enough there. He's not too close to Marza, but now here's what I was talking about. Sux had been able to block into the hairpin, but down the casino straight, it's just too much to deal with for the optimal hosting driver. And Lord Munier is back in the top 5. He's got DRS for free, like he did earlier in the race when he was able to take the lead off Schluter into the final chicane. Now his job is to catch the Brashok, and we will see. He was purple in sectors 2 and 3, which means a 1 minute 10 lap time might be far away here if this pace is repeated in the overall sense of things. So Munier with a clear track. Yeah, he's gone purple again. So, yeah, this is a great strategy call here from Munier, and that means Grankvist, I think, is the worst off in this part of the race. Of course, he knows what he's doing, whereas I was caught out by his plan, as it looked like for a while that Munier was pulling away, but as a matter of fact, Grankvist was reeling him in on the sly. So Grankvist, I don't want to doubt his credentials for a moment, but he's in this awkward position as now the race leaders pit, David. So this is massive. Grankvist has decided to go the longest of the 5, but now in the middle it will be P1 and P2. Mark Schluter will watch his rival with very, very... Oh, look at this. Yeah, he's got the eagle eye view on him. But just narrowly ahead will be Zeuuw on pit exit. But Munier and Brashok have each undercut. So that means they'll have to work even harder in the next half of the race, David, to make sure they're not going to fall off the podium.
Well, absolutely. I mean, brilliant move by Meunier to copy Brakshock really and dive in the pits. And Brakshock is going to be in the net lead by a mile. Jan Grunquist only has 8 seconds on him. And the pit stop, as we said, was 16. So Grunquist is going to drop back down into 7th place after his pit stop. So exciting changes, exciting opportunities here at this stage of the race. And it's just going to be incredible to see who now manages this next stint the best. Meunier is up for some business because he's now on the soft. The other guys have continued on medium tyres, or either switched to medium in the case of Brakshock. Grunquist in the pits, I see.
Yeah, so Grunquist reacts, but we have to watch the battle here. Zeuuw's kind of stuck in the middle here. Zeuuw has a catch for now. Sucks has drifted wide there, but caught it just in time. Schluter on the DRS will pull to the inside and make that pass as well. Watching and waiting to see where Grunquist ends up. He will just exit pit lane now, I think, or rejoin the track, I should say. So he's ended up in P6. So he had the undercut, extremely powerful, and that means Yannick Brakshock is genuinely the race leader. But whether or not Meunier will tolerate that much longer, I'll have to wait and see. As he got his 111.9 for a new personal best there. Very, very good job. But now this race is turned on its head completely. But watching and waiting for this battle. It's Schluter on softs. He will have the quicker run of it in the middle stint. But Zeuuw has to decide if he wants to just laser watch with laser vision Schluter's behaviour in front of him, or if he wants to be in his mirrors and make sure he doesn't make the overtake any more often than he needs to. So here we go. Schluter will have the DRS already. That's the pass for the P3, David. But now Zeuuw has to make sure he doesn't lose that DRS advantage whatsoever. Sucks again minding his own business. Those soft tires will eventually have to come off, as he's been one of the earliest in the pits. So Jan Grunquist will pick him off. Schluter, new fast lap, 111.5. It's all happening here.
Yeah, Mark Schluter is getting the business done exactly when he needs to. He's on these brand new soft tyres, and he needs to wring their neck and get himself on very equal terms with these other drivers who have yet to use the soft tyre. But the medium tyre is a very good tyre here. But really interesting that the guys, if they didn't already know, and they probably did, what Brakshock has taught them is how powerful the undercut is, because you can be motoring along nicely going, oh look, my lap time is not deteriorating, I've still got good pace, so I'll just continue on with these tyres. You don't realise until somebody else puts some fresh ones on, how much quicker you could be going. And that's the deceptive thing about these low degradation tracks. The low tyre deg is being concealed by fuel effect, and you're losing a lot of pace, but you just don't know it because the car's getting lighter.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And the balance of performance, I'm sure, will play its hand here in a little while. The Brakshock had that benefit with the undercut, but now his medium tyres should be about 10 laps old now, whereas Meunier on a softer compound has 5 lap old soft tyres. So that will be the turnaround, or the roundabout, I should say. So Brakshock had the advantage earlier on, but now he's going to realise the negative aspects of his chosen strategy. And Meunier, if he can gain 3 more tenths of a second, then he will be able to throw down the gauntlet and say, I want my lead back. I'm not going to sit around and wait for it to be given to me. I want it back. And we've got 3 purple middle sectors from 3 different drivers. And if anything, Zeuuw must have had some DRS, and that's helped him stay tight to Mark Schluter. So we'll wait and see if there's any threat of a new 1 minute 11 point something lap to make it a new fast lap for one of our drivers. So Meunier across the line. How much time has he gained? About half a second. That last lap, not enough for fastest. Schluter will come along now. Yeah, he has 111.9, and Zeuuw slower in the third sector up to 1 minute 12.5. So these 4 drivers are looking very exciting. Jan Grunquist with the freshest of all the tyres in the top 5. He'll have probably a little bit more work to do to get them up to peak temperature, and then he should be ready to fight later in the race. But watching and waiting now, this may be inevitability. The Automale of Brashock was just looking, perhaps taking a final realisation about what's going to happen here, David. It should be a routine overtake from Q3.
Mooney are getting very, very close now. You would think with DRS and a little bit of pushing past, he can get this done, and he's on the soft tyres, so everything's in his favour. But if Yannick can just stay with him, yep, nice clean pass before the final chicane. And I tell you what, I hold my breath every time these guys clear those big curbs, those big sausage curbs there, because it just amazes me how much of the chassis they put over that curb and still manage not to lose the car. It's very impressive.
Oh yes, it well and truly is. Sweezy has blue flags again here, as none of our top 10 will have blue flags for another while at least. Snowden, of course, has pitted once, but Zeuuw has pitted twice, so he realises he's got a healthy gap. So he just pitted a little while ago for mediums. I don't know if that's going to take him to the end though. It might be marginal if he wants to do a 3-stopper. That will be my estimate about what Zeuuw is opting to do, as he does have a battle with George Zalgianis perhaps on the horizon. But he knows that P6 is the maximum he's going to get without any bit of luck or tragedy for our drivers ahead. So that's why he's hoping for, to try an aggressive pit strategy to make the places he needs. Berliak is healthy enough ahead, of course, with that one less stop.
He should be able to do 35 laps on those mediums. They're not going to be ultra quick at the end, but of course the deeper we get into it and the fewer laps that are left, the less worthwhile it is to pit another set of tyres. The driver who's really got to make things work for him at the minute to stay competitive for the win, in my view, is Mark Schluter, because he's the other guy that's on the soft. Look, Meunier's done the business on the soft. Mark Schluter is going quick and he is gaining. So it's looking like it could work out for him also.
Yeah, it definitely could pay off a little while. Schluter, he knows that if he can overtake Brashock on merit in a few laps time, then he knows something is going well for him. Of course, Zeuuw on mediums should be coming onto softs to conclude his race, so that's why he needs to charge for the field when he goes for softs at the end. As Ed Hunter says in our YouTube chat, it's the likely plan for Zeuuw. But Grankvist, he hasn't really got those 111s he requires, to be honest. That's not a great sign, but as I say, he could surprise me yet again this month, knowing the kind of form he's been in recently. He is a championship contender, no doubt about it.
Now the thing about Zeuuw, just bring what you brought up there, made it very interesting. Zeuuw's run medium, right?
Yes.
So he also pitted last out of that lead group, and that's he's in 4th place. He's bought himself a pretty substantial tyre delta. If he runs a few laps longer again on these mediums on this stint, he is going to be ultra quick. With a light car and softs at the end, he's going to be able to put in 18 or 20 near qualifying laps. So he's playing a patient game. He's taking the medicine early while the other guys try to get something done on the soft. It's going to be very interesting when Alex decides to put the soft on and how quick he goes.
Yes, we will have to watch that in for the next half an hour to see how things plan out for Alex Zeuuw and his ambitions to go from 4th on the grid. He had the lead briefly, then he's come back out in P4, and now he's going to have to win this race on strategy. And at the moment after his qualifying, he went for 110% effort. He crashed 3 times, meaning that he failed to perhaps get on the front row as he targeted. He wasn't a fan of the circuit, but now that we're in race trim, that you have to be more considerate, but without, of course, being, as you can see, perfectly demonstrated yet again. You have to attack the curbs just a little bit, even with the race setup having to deal with more fuel, etc. But now here's a chance for Mark Schluter on course to overtake Janos Brashok. He's got a purple middle sector. That will mean Brashok may have to hit very soon just to stay on course and go for an aggressive final stint to make sure he's still a contender for the top 4. I'm not sure the podium is guaranteed here by any means. The 2 ALM MVs are going to try and punish any mistakes there.
Schluter has been flying. He's been going half to 0.7 of a second quicker than the other 2 guys in the top 3. So running super quick at the minute. In fact, he's going a second quicker than Loic Mounier. So Mark is absolutely making this soft stint pay and pulling himself a nice little buffer. And Loic, of course, pitted a lap or 2 before him, and hence ended up in first place. So it is still absolutely on for any of these top 4, even these top 5. Peter Burlak is potentially a little bit off now, off the lead group to score a podium. But any of these guys, this is evolving into an incredibly tactical session.
It is for sure. So holding on to that camera shot, you could probably just sense that Jan Grankvist would have come into screen to complete his lap. You can just pop and you can just see him there in the background across the line. There we go. So you can see now 5 cars all in contention for the victory here. There's so much prestige among these drivers. They've won honours all around SimRacing. And now they're going to decide who becomes the winner of the Canadian Grand Prix in Formula SimRacing World Championship. That will mark the halfway point of the season once the checkered flag flies. Head into June and July window of 1 race a month before we build to the great ending that we have in store for the Italian Grand Prix, the Singapore Grand Prix and the Brazilian Grand Prix. So that'll be very exciting to watch in the August and then September window after the summer for the North Hemisphere comes to an end, which is always sad when the summer has to end up here in the Northern Hemisphere, but of course it has to eventually go back to, I suppose, the routine of autumn.
Now, if any of the, thank you very much for the fans that are watching live on YouTube at the moment. If anybody has any questions, feel free to just put Ask FSR in the comment section and we'll do our very best to answer any questions you might have as this exciting race evolves and builds into an incredible climax.
So Janos Brashok does give us an answer to a question though. How long could he go in his middle stint? If we believe it's a 2-stop. And he's done near enough, probably 19 laps on this set of tyres, so he should be clear to go to the end. Or maybe a 3-stopper if he's feeling very, very frisky indeed. So Brashok has fallen to P6 now. But Petar Burliak, he should be caught up in a little while. And that will return him to the top 5. That has thrilled us immensely tonight. But now, here we go, further race lead. Perhaps not this time, but certainly very soon, as it's a gain in the middle sector, particularly on this lap for Mark Schluter. Not enough just yet, but he's certainly threatening to do it. Brashok, purple middle sector, heavy hit at the curbs there, so that might cost Schluter a 10th or 2 as they cross the line to begin lap 41. Yes, it's a gain back for Mounier, so his lap was 1/100th of a second quicker thanks to that small misjudgment. But definitely the pressure is on Mounier to respond, as he was able to take the lead off Schluter way back in about lap 19 or so, or maybe lap 17. So now Schluter has the chance to say, yeah, you tried me once and now it's your turn to feel the pressure.
So I just took a quick look. Janos ran 20 laps on the softs in his first stint. I'm pretty sure he started on softs. Did 20 laps. And there's 30 laps to go. So unless he's relying on fuel effect and the extra, like a lighter car and the extra grip from the rubbered in racing surface to help him get 30 laps out of the soft, which I don't put beyond him at all. But it's either that or stopping again, which means 2 15-lap stints, which I suppose if he's going to go absolutely all out and use up the tyres, that has potential as well. But if he can get these ones home, he's not far from being in the net lead when everybody else's stops settle out.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the radar because Nandor Marza will exit the pit lane a lap down now compared to when he started. And that traffic effect, yeah, that might be bad news for Jan Krankvist. Nothing, of course, that Nandor Marza can do about it. It's just his own race. He's doing what he can to secure the points for Invictus Motorsport. So Jan Krankvist will just have to deal with the situation with Max Schluter. Gets DRS, probably first time. Janis Bashok, new fast lap at 1:11.298. So those 110s are closer than ever before. And we'll definitely see them as the fuel really gets low down. Heading towards the conclusion of this race. But Schluter, this is his best chance so far to go for the race lead. He was 0.3 of a second quicker last time out. He's got DRS on this casino straight right now. The lovely river view to the driver's left. You can see it there. No concern for Mark Schluter. He doesn't have anything else on his mind except this race lead. He does tag the World Champions gently there. That may have cost him. Not quite used to DRS in the last couple of laps. And he gains again. Zeuuw not able to gain on Schluter this time, but he does lap quicker than Munier. So it's not necessarily a 2-horse race in this part of the race, David. But Schluter, he's got to time his moment here. He doesn't want to make Munier's life easier by giving him DRS in the final sector. So maybe he'll sit back and try again into the World Championship chicane. But here he goes. He's got the great toe. He's going to get very, very close, but not enough. So yeah, he's going to wait for his moment and go for the attack.
Yeah, he's certainly in striking distance. Oh, a tiny tap of the wall there from Schluter on the exit of the chicane. But he's certainly going to be within striking distance now, within half a second of Loic Munier. But I tell you who is stalking not far behind. Alex Zeuuw is still on the medium. He hasn't used a soft tyre yet, and he's only 3.5 seconds off Schluter. Alex Zeuuw is looming as a bit of a dark horse in this event.
Yeah, and Zeuuw is at the end of Zeuuw is in front. Yeah, it must be a bit, so now he's out of the race. So Zeuuw will not get his reward for his efforts tonight. That means only 8 cars remain on the lead lap. Nandor Marza should get his lap back eventually. So that's quite a remarkable situation. William Snowden will soon get caught, of course. He's about 10 seconds clear. You can see his orange dot heading into the 8-9 chicane. So he's going to get caught up soon, as these drivers are really going for broke now. They realise how this race could evolve with Zeuuw, who should get a tyre advantage later in the stint before he should go onto softs if our predictions are correct. And Jan Krankvist as well is very quick, as he has gained some time on his teammate. The battle for the lead, it's not been a dramatic battle in terms of overtakes, but certainly is in terms of mind games, because Schluter knows if he can get side by side, then Munier has to make his decision about how hard he'll defend, knowing that a mistake could cost him 4 places. Brash, of course, as well. He's going to overtake Burliak for position. That'll get him back into 5th position. So he's doing that similar trick again of trying to claw back the time with the undercut.
And Loic Munier and Mark Schluter, possibly in the back of their mind, are also thinking they don't want to fight so hard that they allow Alex Zeuuw any closer, because if you are at the peak of your performance on a set of soft tyres, you don't want a bloke behind you who's yet to use soft tyres under 3 seconds away, because that sort of, you cue the theme from the Jaws movie when that starts to happen. The guy who hasn't yet loaded a set of softs into the chamber and is still managing to be under 3 seconds from you. I think roughly lap 50 might be when Bradshaw pulls the trigger on that soft tyre, Zeuuw pulls the trigger on that soft tyre stint, because he ran to mid-20s on the previous medium stint. I'll just double check that.
All means. And,
Lap 28, yeah, lap 28. So he can go to lap 55 and then be absolutely flying when he bolts on soft. Sorry for interrupting.
That's no problem at all, David. The fast lap from Bradshaw has been archived because he was half a second slower on lap 45 compared to lap 44. He's still ready to cut into the advantage of the ALM MV cars. Grankvist not close enough just yet. You could see Schluter's DRS was wide open, ready once again to close the gap on Meunier. Grankvist, you can see him working very hard as well. George Aljanis has taken to the pit lane. So he has a comfortable gap over William Snowden. He should be able to stay just in front of the Seven Arrows if he has a flawless pit stop. And he will stick with the medium tyres to the finish. Most likely that is the play. Yes, Schluter, his teammate, of course, Saljanis, will come and meet his teammate soon enough. But for the race lead, it's not happening just yet. He was closer, ready to have a little peek, but not enough just yet. He's got great traction into turn 2, but on exit, Meunier has responded very bravely. I'm sure he has the power and performance on those soft tyres. Schluter so close, just not able to find the ideal situation to overtake and not have a reaction that will cost him that bit of tyre life. So it has to be very, very strategic to make a move. It wouldn't happen here though if he plays to the strategy I'm thinking he's doing. So he's very close now though into the run to the hairpin. So turn 10, he won't dive down the inside by any means, but he will. Arches cornering apex to power out. Yeah, he doesn't quite turn into the full apex, but he does have the power on exit. And at 0.3 of a second now, this could be it. He goes to the outside. Meunier defends the inside, but the big boost he needs has been rewarded. He takes the race lead back from Loic Meunier, and now he has the double DRS advantage. So there's no possible way for Meunier to counteract on this lap. So lap 48 begins, and Loic Meunier has to try and react to what has just occurred. He's been the star of the second stint so far, but now Max Schluter has the joy of getting his lead back after having 30 laps without it.
Loic Meunier's got a pretty quick car in a straight line, even with DRS and no doubt a little bit of push to pass as well. Mark Schluter only really crept by him. So Loic can set the car up for a lot of speed, and that can sometimes cost you a little bit in tyre. Well, not so much on a surface like this, but every little bit of wind takes some wear away from the tyre happening. So that might be a factor, but both of them still doing really good lap times.
So this is the departure of Zeuuw in the race. His front wing is gone, and he must have felt there's no recovering his car performance-wise. So he decides, no, I'm not able to continue in this condition. So he'll just reverse into the garage and say, enough is enough. So Amine Suisi, he could get a top 10 without having set a single lap of warm-up or qualifying. Basically practice, I should say. So we haven't seen his practice on the front end, but he has a chance to finish P10 on the road, 8 laps down after making it back from his holidays. So this will be a once in a blue moon sort of achievement for a driver to be 8 laps down. He'll be very pleased with their performance. So he's almost there, just a few more laps, and he will have a top 10. Nando Marza in 9th place will also be happy for his troubles to pick up a great result if he can hang on into it, knowing his teammate Matthew Toussaint lost his phenomenal consecutive finishes record of 21. So Nando Marza has the responsibility to get the job done here and collect another great result. His best, of course, was a 7th at Suzuka in this 2026 campaign.
So while all that was happening, I'll tell you what has occurred. Loic Meunier apparently heard the speech about his tyres, because he's pitted. He's come back out only 14 seconds from the lead, and he is on a fresh set of softs with 20 laps to go. So Loic, massive amounts of curb on the final chicane there. Goodness gracious. Yeah, Loic is flying. Looks like Grandquist is pitted as well.
His middle stint is much shorter, so now he's on course for a 20 lap.
He's undercut Schluter. He's just about undercut Schluter. They're fighting for the position. Yep. So Schluter has responded to the Loic Meunier pit stop by stopping himself, also going for a set of softs. And Loic Meunier has pulled off an undercut after that incredible battle between the two of them. And they are, of course, fighting for the net lead of the race, because the drivers in front of them have got a pit. That was incredible. Great tactical move from Meunier and great response from Schluter, but didn't get there in time. So it's on again, round 2. Let's ring the bell.
And of course, it's a much more even fight. Their tyres are in similar condition, but they've got to be wary because, of course, Alex Zeuuw will have his pit stop to come in a little while, and he will definitely be on soft tyres, but he must obey the 2 compound rule here in FSR. And of course, Peter Burliak is the driver who has only pitted once so far. He pitted on lap 26. He will definitely have to serve his next stop soon if you want to follow mathematical kind of strategy here. So he's almost halfway there. He's definitely done a solid job here, but unfortunately his best result might just be the P6 in the end. So here's Schluter on his exit from the pits, and we'll see now how Meunier managed to pick his pocket and get his position back. There we go, he's now full speed ahead into turn 2. He'll go, but look at Meunier, he's already there. And of course, with the fresher and hotter tyres, he will be able to overtake it to turn 3 with that inside line, and Schluter has to yield that one to him. So brilliant work from Loic there.
Yeah, I was watching Loic Meunier attack. Schluter attacking him now again with the no DRS, but a big attack anyway. Yeah, Loic Meunier on his outlap absolutely took no prisoners. We have Zeuuw pitting now. Zeuuw pitting or exiting the pits.
Yeah,
he'll be on those softs now. This is going to be interesting.
Oh, there's a look at Grandquist. The teammates have reunited, but perhaps smartly Grandquist decides to not fight that one. So the undercut option was there for Jan Grandquist, but it didn't. It winds up being a perfect overtake. He decided, it's better just to let my teammate go. And this means that Schluter and Meunier, their alarm bells have to be ringing, because the fight to win the race for Zeuuw starts from 11.3 seconds back from Janos Braszczuk. And Burliak will help Loic Meunier with his DRS for the moment, so MV Conquest will be satisfied with this. Burliak will, I'm sure, yield to his teammate, but I'm well aware the opportunity to back up Schluter into Zeuuw would be tempting if he could pull it off. We don't know exactly how this will pay off. Yeah, he decides to pit, so that makes sense. He doesn't need to play a barrier to anybody. He'll just get on with his own race. Here he goes into the pits, and this should be a switch to soft tyres. There we go. You can see the red stripes are on the MV Conquest number 98. So that means he's going to settle for P6 and hope for something to happen in front of him. We'll see how the split times react to this news of Alex Zeuuw pitting a short while ago, meaning he can push all the way to the end, David.
Yes, and each of these drivers, only one lap of tyre life separates them. Loic Meunier, the oldest, Mark Schluter 1 lap younger, Alex Zeuuw 1 lap younger. And a big part of me was thinking that Zeuuw might build up a little bit more of a tyre advantage, but he was probably just looking at the lap times and knew once these boys put on the fresh softs, they were going to be away. so he had to come out and party, perhaps even potentially earlier than he planned to. So they can all thank Loic Mounier for that, for diving into the pit and ringing the bell.
And Mark Slaughter's back ahead. So P2 for the world champion, hoping that his time off the podium will not be any longer than 3 Grand Prix. So P2 now for the German. But to win this race, he needs to beat both Brashok ahead. Of course, will eventually run out of tyre life compared to these guys. And he must beat Zeuuw as well, who's going to come like a freight train. 1 minute 11.0 that time for Zeuuw without the DRS benefit. But a 1:10.9, I got my 1 minute 10 lap time after all, courtesy of Mark Slaughter, getting that pass on Loic Mounier. So beautiful work there. And now he's going to try and avoid Mounier responding with the blue flags there. That must be for Marza. He's down to P8 now. There he is. He's just in the sandwich at the moment. And he will eventually pull alongside, but I'm sure Zeuuw would. Yeah, there we go. He will get a DRS activation for free there. And up they go to the back straight. William Snowden, of course, he's in a race with Nandor, so Nandor does the wise, doesn't back off completely. So that battle for P8 is still on between Marza and Snowden. But now for second place, Loic Mounier wants it back as soon as possible, but it's not going to quite happen to him this time, David. He has to try again.
Yeah, and Janos Brashok, I just double checked, Janos Brashok pitted at the end of lap 39 for the softs that he's on now. So they're already 16 laps old, and we've got 15 laps to go. So this would be a pretty heroic run on the softs if Janos can make them last 30 laps. But if anybody can do it, he's the guy that can do it, because he's quite the tyre whisperer with the soft tyres. He's just got to stretch them out a little bit and just measure out the aggression and hope these guys trip each other up a bit. He's got 6 seconds up his sleeve, 15 laps. So what's that? A third of a second per lap he can afford to give away. Let's see what he can do on these soft tyres.
Of course, yeah. So this it's actually a pit. It's a 3-stop strategy for Brashok. He wants to try and rally back. So he's going to lose about 6 seconds to Grankvist if this is a best case scenario pit stop. So unfortunately, Brashok will not whisper those tyres to the end. He's going to try the very aggressive 3-stop strategy here, all the way to the end now, without a doubt. Does he have the time to make it work though? He's down to P5 already. Grankvist is within 2 seconds of the race leader. So 4 cars, potential for the win. Brashok has made sure that Burliak isn't ahead of him. So good call in terms of beating the delta. So now Jan Grankvist is following his teammate, move for move at the moment. Mounier's DRS, Grankvist is DRS. The 111s are the name of the game at the moment. Only Mark Slaughter has beaten a 1 minute 10 lap time at the moment, but I'm sure DRS played its critical part there to help him along the way. But now 4-car fight for the win, David. This is what FSR dreams of. This is what matters to these drivers, to get the win, no matter how difficult it's been today and how close it's been today. 4 cars in with a shout of victory, and Brashok could make it a 5th if he's flawless to the end. But Slaughter, he's got experience from the first stint. He's got to defend against drivers of the highest caliber that want his title as soon as possible. But now it's lap 57, and we're going to have to wait and see what gives.
I would think it was pretty exciting when we were 10 laps in or 15 laps in and we had 4 cars within 2 seconds of each other. We're 57 laps in and we've got 4 cars within 2 seconds of each other that have all arrived at this point with different strategies. So, yep, it's a straight fight to the finish now with very similar tyre life between those guys.
Nando Marza has pitted for the 3rd time, so that means William Snowden has to play defensive to earn a P8 result for himself today. That'll be his best of the season, and that'll help him win sort of that midfield battle with Pasquale on 20 points, Suisi on 20 points, Mars on 20 points, Myrna on 19, Canzonieri on 19, but he's not here, and Tucson out of the race also on 19. So It's going to be a great day for William Snowden if he can hang on to this in his contest with Nandor Marza, who is with the 20 points. But now side by side, look, Munier wants to lead back. He's got to defend it to turn 2 though to complete the move. He blocks the apex and he's back ahead. So Munier has repeated the trick from earlier in the race and retakes the lead. Well, that allows Alex Zeuuw into DRS range. A fastest lap from Janis Brashov, a 1 minute 10.7. So if you can do that sort of lap time target a few more times, then you will have an outside shot of getting P4 or maybe even the podium. But now Schluter has DRS, Zeuuw's DRS, and so does Grankvist. So this is absolutely sensational stuff. Do not turn off your monitors here. This is going to be an ending for the ages.
Yeah, Alex Zeuuw is probably licking his lips watching these guys fight each other, and now, well, Grankvist, just 4 of them. It's unbelievable how close they are together. Zeuuw is going to have DRS. Schluter's got DRS. Man, you wouldn't want to be prone to a nervous state in this situation.
Yeah, absolutely. But of course, these drivers, they built themselves a healthy career for themselves across SimRacing. They know what it's like to win. They know what it's like to taste bitter defeat. So the nerves, I'm sure, will build at some stage. But for now, they've just got to concentrate on the job of getting to the finish however they can. If it is for the... Oh, Zeuuw almost lost his right side tyres there. A slight bump of the wall. That's perfectly okay. He should be able to turn left appropriately. So that's get out of jail for the World Championship leader, Alex Zeuuw. Any more of that, he will be punished, like he was in qualifying. So we're down to the final dozen laps. We're going to find a winner one way or the other, but it starts and ends with how Lord Munier defends his lead for the final segment of the race.
And Brashov still flying. 1:11.2, 0.5 of a second quicker than the next quickest car at the moment. So he's absolutely come out to play on these fresh softs on low fuel. So he may yet manage to join this lead group, and if he does, it'll be pretty incredible. As you said, very aggressive strategy.
It'll be super aggressive from Brashov to make sure he's still in this race with the outside opportunity to come on and improve his point scoring results. He will be taking home 12 points for 5th place as things stand, but he's going to push with everything he's got here to try and remain in this title fight. With 8 points the gap at the moment, he will fall behind Zeuuw as things currently stand, but not by a whole lot. It will be 6 points disadvantage for him unless Zeuuw can overtake the world champion and get into 2nd place, and then he could try and go for the win as planned by the strategy. He's going to be super quick as well once the opening does come. But Brashov is doing his level best here. He's got another purple middle sector. He will be at the very end a player in this wonderful, wonderful fight for the win. But Schluter on DRS, just not quite there yet. And it's so close to be.
And Schluter is probably, part of him is attacking, the other part of him is probably thinking he's pretty pleased he's got DRS from Loic Munier, because that's the only thing stopping Alex Zeuuw from flying by.
Actually, that's probably the thing that Alex Zeuuw didn't factor in. A typical Grand Prix race would have our contenders probably a second or two apart, which helps for a DRS fight. But this Canadian Grand Prix has lent itself to very close driving, very difficult to break free from a DRS train, and it has allowed for a variety of strategies in the two-stop sort of window. In the case of Brashov, of course, he's gone for the 3-stopper, which hasn't been that successful very often. But it would be phenomenal if he could do it somehow, some way. He's got 111.168 last time around. But watching from the back of Munier's camera, we can see Schluter will gain a couple of kilometers an hour, but not enough to slide it down the inside. You don't want to do anything silly that takes you and another driver out of the race after so much marvel and wonder that we've had the pleasure of commentating on and broadcasting for everybody in our FSR community. So lap 62 begins. We're getting closer and closer.
Who was just near the gearbox then?
So close, yeah, he really is close. But to win this race, Zeuuw has to make this number one overtake against the number one reigning champion, Mark Zeuuw. I don't know how on earth he can do it in pretty much identical machinery. We're going to watch out for Zeuuw, though. He'll be lapped again, so he will be narrowly in the 90% finish, the 90% distance covered. So he'll have to hope that there'll be a bit of generosity given his way to say, yeah, I didn't complete the 90% distance, but in terms of the laps I performed when I couldn't attend on schedule, I have to say, right after Zeuuw, he'll pull alongside. Mounier will be grateful for that slipstream, but Zeuuw has lost out in the middle sector by a tenth, and that's all Mark Zeuuw needed just to pull clear. But look at Mounier pull away on the final chicane. He's done a splendid job there. He should be quickest of all in the final sector compared to everybody else, and yes, he is indeed. So great final sector gives Mounier one less lap to think about. Lap 63, have to do lap by lap updates to the stage because there's just so little to separate these drivers. And Janos Brashok, again, very, very fast. If he can keep this up for another 2 or 3 minutes, he's going to be so impressive and get himself a shot, an unlikely victory.
I think traffic might have delayed him slightly because he's only 2.5 seconds, less than 2.5 seconds away from the back of this DRS train. And by that I mean Jan Granquist is only 2.5 seconds ahead of Brashok. So if he keeps going the pace he's going, he will form part of this DRS chain and he will be on the freshest tyres of them all.
And he will. Again, we have another lap within its conclusion now. Lap 64 will be the one to come up next. Zeuuw not able to overtake this time by. We're continuing to watch Brashok and his coverage to the final chicane, and that looked very good. 1:12 for Mounier, so he's lost a couple of tenths this time by Brashok. 1:11.4, so that will help him out yet again. But Granquist, in fairness, only lost a tenth of a second at the back of the train. He was quickest in the last sector, as you'd no doubt expect, getting that extra top speed. Zeuuw, eventually the calculations have to stop and the action has to begin. He wants to win the race, I know that for sure. He doesn't want to bin it and lose out, so he needs to pick some lap in his head and say, this is my final card in my deck. I need to play it. But when will he play it? That is the question, to make this race his and his alone. But Mounier is doing a fabulous job after his work following Zeuuw, then going to the undercut. That has made the difference in this conclusive part of the race. Here he goes, look at this overspeed, 330 kilometers an hour. I think if I could read that correctly, but not enough. And again, Mounier will get a fine exit out of the chicane, heading towards the first 2 corners now to begin. 6 laps to go. 6 laps to go. Zeuuw got great speed, of course, with the double DRS. He lapped 1:12.0, so that's the quickest of the top 4. And then Brashok 1:11.5, so he's in the race. He is now here, and Jan Granquist will need to know this information very quickly. He'll have to defend from Brashok to make sure his dreams of a great result here after the last round fell in his strategic lap. In fairness, he worked so hard for that win in Baku, and he was the rightful winner, but now he has to follow his teammate Zeuuw as best he can. Doesn't want to go for a risk unless he's absolutely sure of it. But Brashok is here. He's absolutely within this race. 1 more lap to go, and Brashok will be in DRS range. But yet again, we wait to see what could happen next. Zeuuw is our focal point here on the cameras, but again, it's just not enough to make an overtake on Zeuuw. Clean as you like, past all the champions and into lap 66, David. I have to say now, will Zeuuw make the move? He's taken a little peek, but not enough, and that'll distract Zeuuw just long enough to give Mounier one last chance to to try and break DRS. But it's now or never if that's going to happen, David.
And that was some of the most incredible and most precise open wheeler sim racing that, ladies and gentlemen, you'll ever get to see. This is the peak of sim racing. We're Formula Sim Racing World Championships. This is a 26-year-old league. These are the best open wheeler drivers in the world, and you've been treated to an absolute spectacle tonight of incredible driving, incredible respect and skill at the front of this grid, and what these guys are showing you tonight is just amazing.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. Oh, it's just unbelievable. And we're heading to lap number 67. And again, Zeuuw has to hope that something has got his car that extra boost performance. Here he goes, he has a look. But Schluter, he made the move first on Meunier, so that kind of counteracted that. But for the second go, Meunier is still defending. But Zeuuw has to try and read Schluter's mind as well, because when you're in second place in a 3-car fight, you have to probably move extra early, so the other driver has a chance to respond to what you're doing. So there we go. This is the final furlongs of this race. Jonas Brashok has done everything he can to get himself back in the race for Automale, and it means this will be a truly outstanding finish if it stays this way. Schluter has got that buffer though, about half a second, so he has a little bit of privacy to get on with the job. It won't last forever though, as Zeuuw attacks those curves very heavily indeed. Well, this is it now. I think Schluter, we've got the lap car coming that might be the teammate, as a matter of fact. The Rd.5 SimRacing team have George Zalagianis, who will be lapped very soon. Hopefully.
Last time Schluter was this close, he pulled off the pass, and yes, I think he's got him this time.
He's done
Loic
it.
Meunier has an incredibly quick car, but Schluter was quicker this time in.
Yeah, there we go. Schluter's in the lead, but he needs to defend the lead long enough so George Zalagianis will be pulled alongside for blue flags, and all 5 of the leaders can get by safely. There he is. Zalagianis will know for sure his teammate's coming. He will not want any distraction, so he needs to get through the next 4 turns, or I should say now 2 turns, to make sure he can pull alongside. So here we go through corner number 6 and now corner number 7. He does have that gap still, so he doesn't have to pull over just yet, but I'm sure by the hairpin he'll know I've got to get out of the way to help my teammate every bit I can. So there we go, another 2 turns done for the Greek. But here comes Schluter and the rest of the company here. 5 cars, all the same camera shot, all with dreams of winning the Canadian Grand Prix of 2026. So there we go, he's going to pull alongside. He knows there's the signal. I'm going to pull alongside in just a moment's time. Make sure my teammates gets a little bit of slipstream before I do. So no doubt about it, that will help Schluter along. But with 2 to go, Meunier's gone for it. He's gone in the gap and he's back in front. Zalagianis pulls alongside appropriately, but now Meunier leads again, and Zeuuw couldn't respond in time. And I think Brashok's made a mistake somewhere, so he's lost Brashok's gutsy 3-stop strategy, and it becomes the duel between 4 cars. Meunier's still in front by 1 or 1500ths of a second. There's nothing in this race, David. It has to go down to the next 2 or 3 minutes to decide a winner. Who's got the guts to do it? Let's wait and see.
Man, oh man, it's incredible. I'm running out of superlatives. Schluter is as close as he's ever been, and every time he's been this close to Meunier, he has managed to pass him on the big back straight. But he's got to stop Meunier from getting him back on the following lap. So here he is, 0.276 of a second. This is all he needs. Good exit.
He's on course. He's on target. This should be just about right. Meunier has to move to one side of the track. He moves to the other. That's his last move before he has to accept that Mark Schluter's back in the lead. With the final lap about to begin, Mark Schluter leads again. Zeuuw and Grogfest still tied, bound together as colleagues and as competitors. But the final lap begins. Schluter has a lead back. He now has to make a gap for himself about 0.4 of a second. So Meunier can't react, and Zeuuw can't perform a double overtake. So the pressure has fallen onto Meunier's shoulders now to make sure he hangs on to this result and he doesn't fall back any further. Zeuuw knows
he will end the day. Championship leaders, Grankvist is just following him, and Brashok is down in P5, so he loses out. And Schluter's 25 points will only get him about 85. So yeah, Lahoo has the buffer still. So Lahoo is kind of in a dilemma to say doesn't have to go for the points unless he attempted to do it. Half a second lead for Schluter into the hairpin, David. This is it, now or never.
It's going to be very, very close because Munier's car is so fast.
I think Lahoo's got the gap. Lahoo's got the gap. Munier's 6/10 down. He won't get the best of the DRS. So Alex Lahoo to get 21 points instead of 18 to increase his championship lead. Down the inside. He's through. But the champion is back. He's been off the podium for the last 3 rounds, but not any longer. Mark Schluter in 2026 is a winner again. And Alex Lahoo, the most threatening driver to his throne, has come in P2. Munier has to take a 3rd position, and Jan Grankvist has P4. But that was truly mega. What a race between 5 drivers. It's just a shame Brashok had a small mistake in the automali, meaning he couldn't live up to that 3-stop strategy's best potential. But absolutely, perhaps the best race of FSR I have been privileged to bring to everybody tonight. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, what have we just witnessed there? That was absolutely incredible. I'm buzzing with excitement, really. The hairs, I've got goosebumps. That was just quite incredible racing and an amazing finish from these guys.
Oh, truly, truly special. Well done, Mark Schluter there. He knows the pressure was building on him. I know Baku, he would have felt terrible about what happened in that castle section when he had to recover from spinning backwards, and he ended up hitting Murno and causing him damage as well. So come back 3 weeks later in the very best of form on a track that he might not have the reliance to fall back on in 2025 when he won the title. It wasn't on the 2025 calendar, so he didn't have that benefit that he would have known. The British Grand Prix, he knows how to win at the British Grand Prix, he knows how to win at Spa, but the Montreal Circuit Gilles Villeneuve had thrown up an absolute spectacular. Everybody enjoyed.
That was a spectacle. That was a world champion's drive from Mark Schluter, and that is his first win of the season, going towards defending his world championship title. And he had a straight fight with one of his greatest challengers, Alex Lahoo, and he prevailed in some of the most exciting and some of the toughest circumstances I've ever witnessed. It was just an incredible spectacle. Well done to the drivers, well done to Formula Sim Racing.
And let's also give Matt Toussaint fact-checking credit, because Rd.5 Sim Racing team up until today had never won in the World Championship of FSR. So now they have finally picked up the win. They got their premier signing in the off-season, and he's finally delivered for them. So Rd.5 Sim Racing team, congratulations on your first win in the World Championship after so many years of trying. So there we go. Schluter defeats Alex Lahoo, who snagged 2nd place off Luc Munier at the last chicane of the last lap, which could be absolutely pivotal come the end of the season. 3 points that could mean everything to Alex Lahoo. But Luc Munier, let's not discount his fantastic efforts all day long. He qualified well, and he fought for the lead in the first stint and undercut towards the end as well. Just a shame. P3, I'm sure he'd be feeling a bit disappointed that he didn't get the maximum today, but great effort. And then Jan Grankvist as well, spectacular driving from him. He had to respect his teammate though at the end, so it couldn't quite be a case where he could pull on the audacious strategy as well in the first stint. Made him a highlight to watch. And of course, Janis Brashok went for the 3-stopper and nearly made it an unbelievable finish with 5 cars, but just a shame.
There was too much going on and too much excitement to mention, but he actually managed to get, just before he made that little error, he got DRS on Janquist, so it was quite incredible. I've just also seen the message, William Snowden had brake failure on the final lap at the hairpin. So that's where they get peak temperatures, and he was running a thicker disc, a 30mm disc, but they failed anyway. So yeah, we thought it might happen, and it has happened.
Yeah.
With a bit of luck, some of the podium drivers might come and join us for an interview. I've put a message.
Yeah, but of course the top 5 aren't the only ones who participated today. We've also got to talk about the drivers who finished in the top 10. So Petr Burliak, quite enough race for him, but of course 13 seconds off the race winner in the end. That's no mean achievement at all. Brilliant drive from Petr Burliak today, finished in 6th place. 7th place for the other Grand Effect SimRacing team driver, George Zalgianis. He was lapped, of course, in dramatic style. Nando Marza gets the job done over William Snowden, who, as you mentioned, David, had the brake failure, so that cost him. Unfortunately, Amine Suisi completes 61 laps, and that's not enough for 90% distance, so therefore, under the rule book, he will not be classified, meaning he will not get his points. So only 9 drivers are awarded with points, but well done to Amine for coming along and making this race a little bit extra special as well as a top.
Okay, we've got the reigning world champion and the hero of the moment. Mark Schluter is here, ready to talk to us. Shall I bring him in?
Yes, please. Let's have a chat. Hey, Mark, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Well, what can you say? That was absolutely remarkable. A brilliant drive today from yourself in a gaggle with 4 other drivers. How on earth did you win that one?
I think it's not just luck, but I think our car today was phenomenal. Robin Panther, our engineer, did a very good job today with the setup, with helping us throughout the race. And yeah, I'm just very, very glad to win on my favorite track for once.
So it is your favorite. Oh, very good.
Mark, I think you'll really enjoy watching the YouTube video because obviously you featured a lot in it, but it was just a stunning race with incredible moves, incredible pace, incredibly close racing, and you the whole podium, but you guys up the front there just put on such an amazing show. It was amazing, but particularly the fight you had with Loic so many times up the back straight. Right, he seemed to have a very fast car, but and it was sparking a lot as well. But so many times you had DRS on him. It was just an absolutely gratifying and amazing fight. So I want to thank you on behalf of all the people who watch FSR on YouTube, because you guys just put on something spectacular.
Thank you, David. I think today we deserved it to win. I think we had a bit worse traction than them when we had new tires, but I think setting up the car to be more capable of going over the curbs in the chicanes, I think that made the difference today.
Yeah, well, that was certainly noticeable. You were taking a lot of curb every time, particularly on the final chicane. So you'd done something right to let the car handle that, because it was pretty noticeable how much curb you were taking consistently, but without problems. So that was part of the recipe.
Yeah, for sure. But as I said already, I'm just glad pretty much driving against 3 drivers from practically the same team and coming out on top. I think just feels very good.
Yeah, it was I think you can be very proud, really. And your first win for 2026, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
So to beat the top challengers in a fair fight, the way you did, I think you can be very proud of yourself. So certainly from me, congratulations on a job well done. Sorry, Eoin, for diving in and doing too much talking.
Please don't feel too bad, Dave, because I had to shout a lot there at the end, so I don't want to take your time away either. So I have to balance the duties.
Eoin did a fantastic commentary. I think it'll be a classic FSR YouTube. So yeah, well done, Mark. Brilliant work. You're probably exhausted, so we won't keep you too much longer. But yeah, superb drive, superb skills, superb entertainment for all of us. So really, really good stuff.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks a lot. I'll bring Alex in.
Absolutely. Hi, Alex. Can you hear us?
Hi. Yeah.
Hello. So, from your perspective, it was kind of. Let's start with qualifying because I know this track punished all of your mistakes as you've tried to push every last drip out of your car. So, the fact that you probably start P4, was that something that you felt was below expectations?
Oh, I completely forgot to say hello, guys. Thanks for the stream and thanks for being here.
Hi,
Yeah.
hi Alex. Thanks for a great spectacle.
Yeah, it was great. It was a really great race, actually. I mean, there wasn't much overtaking opportunity. You had to create a tire delta for that, which I failed to do on the second pit stop, actually. But first off, let's talk about quali. I kind of bottled the lap. P4 was below expectation. I was on 4.0, actually. Just couldn't get past on 4 or 5. Like the chicane, the car would just bounce in a weird way, while in practice there wasn't such case. So I wasn't able to really set a competitive. Well, can we really say competitive? P4 still nice. P4 still great. Which I would have expected better, but I just know that the race is long, so there was going to be a GR strain for the first of the stint. Because we pretty much all had the same pace today compared to Baku, where we were definitely quicker than the optimal guys. Not much to say really. It was a great fight at the end. Managed to get Loic on the final lap, final corner, and I missed out on Mark by 1 lap. And that was because I didn't create enough of a tire offset. I expected to be so far with the overcut. I expected to be like expected to be like 10 seconds behind if I did like 5 laps offset. But I did only 2, which wasn't enough. But there was a clear pace difference at the end.
Yeah, well, that was the thing that had me scratching my head because I took note of how late you stopped on your first medium tyre stint, and I was doing the maths, and I thought, yeah, he's going to leave it till 15 laps from home and absolutely go flying. But of course, you just saw the gap building up, and so you had to dive in a bit early and didn't have that offset.
Yeah, they were ahead by 2 seconds as well. I had to take that into account.
Yep.
There was going to be extra ground to make up for. So pitting too late could have been a strat. Just I see Mark doing it so often in this league, and I'm just my brain is like, no, don't do it. Why? It's the good strat as well. It's a good way. It's a good thing to do. I just don't do it. But
So
P2 is great.
It was pure Hollywood. You getting you're getting second place on the final chicane on the final lap though. Just getting Loic in the very final chicane.
Yeah.
That was quite incredible to see. That was pure Hollywood.
He ran out of P2P and his tires were at the same point as Mark. They had the same wear. There were 2 laps more worn, so I took the opportunity. He had no push to pass as well to defend with. So I just took the opportunity to grab some more points for the championship because Baku and Bahrain were pretty huge hit with my teammate winning as well, which is great. Great for the team as well. We kind of need to win. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But,
yeah,
but
individual-wise could have been better. But as we've seen before, P5 at Baku was unexpected from the shunt. The incident that happened with Peter, and today he was sick. Peter was sick, unfortunately, so he wasn't at his best and lacked practice as well. He had to come in really late from personal duties.
Now, it didn't surprise me that Loic had run out of push to pass by the end because he and Mark had so many fights. Well, you probably had a pretty good view of it from where you were, but when you watch the YouTube video, if you get a chance to watch the race, they had so many fights down that back straight that I was pretty sure both of them were going to run out of push to pass by the end. So it doesn't surprise me that he had none left.
Yeah, they were fighting pretty heavily as well on the final stint, just going back and forth. And you could argue that the mistake I did on the second stint was going for the medium, which may be true, but I just felt good on this tire, and I guess the move was to go long. Janos tried the 3-stopper, but he ran out of tires just before catching up to Jan behind. So I guess that was it. He just couldn't get close enough to use his fresh tires on us.
Yeah, by the time he'd got to you, he'd worked them so hard, I guess. And
Yeah.
what you're saying
Oh my
about the
God.
medium feeling good, the soft had a bit of a feeling that it could overheat a little bit on this track, I thought, but a bit like Baku, but it might be my imagination. I don't drive around here doing 1 minute 11, so it's a different equation, I guess. So yeah, but
Yeah, I would say so.
just fantastic. It's fantastic for the championship and a fantastic event for everybody, and to see you guys duking it out, and to see Mark chipping his way back towards you guys at the top of the standings just makes it very exciting for us as we look forward to the rest of the season.
Yeah, I hope the stream was exciting as well. Just
Oh, it
watching the
was.
battle.
It absolutely was.
I think you'll
Nice,
love it.
nice.
I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah. So there you go. Just on our screens now, you can see, Alex, your championship lead has increased. You're up to 95 points now at the halfway point of the season. So those 3 points, you never know, that can make all the difference.
I guess the first half is now over, and for some reason I scored the most points. Sure, I mean, yeah.
Well, you
I'll take
see,
it.
Mark, by winning, he was already way behind a little bit, I suppose. So you gained points on Grankvist and Brashok.
Yeah,
Second,
like
so
net wise.
net gain, yeah.
Net gain from P2, yeah, I gained 8.
So Alex, is Silverstone a good track for you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really have good results on Silverstone overall, although I'm quite quick on it. Not been the best track result-wise.
I think it's a track where most of the experienced drivers are pretty competitive, so that'll be a fun one to see. Well, that's our next one, June 21st, so I think that's 3 weeks' time.
Yeah.
Yeah, after 24, next week after the 24 hours of Le Mans.
Ah, fantastic. Well, Alex, thank you for your incredible driving today. Thanks for entertaining us again, and thank you for giving such a good interview. It's always fascinating to hear your insights when we do the interviews. So we'll look forward to seeing you perform again in 3 weeks' time at Silverstone.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me. I want to say congratulations to Mark again for his win, and congrats to Loic for getting the podium.
Indeed.
I guess that's all for me.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Alex, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Yeah, I'll catch you guys in 3 weeks.
Fantastic.
See you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Well, that concludes the interview segments. I suppose everybody is so exhausted. I'm sure the European heat wave may have played a little bit of a difference there, but nevertheless, we got to have the chat with 2 very happy drivers. So that wraps up the broadcast, David. So I think that was the best race I've ever witnessed in FSR. How would you rank it personally?
Well, I wasn't exaggerating when I said I had goosebumps. I had goosebumps on my arm, on both my arms. Yeah, absolutely incredible. The excitement factor and the admiration for the skill level that we just saw. I hope the viewing public get a picture of how good these guys are. And if you want to get involved in FSR, come and look us up. We'd love to have you on the grid as well.
Yeah, I know. I suppose turnout meant that points were guaranteed if you could make to the line. So yeah, I suppose that's just one little blot that we didn't have the usual turnout. I suppose people are occupied or otherwise unable to attend. So hopefully by 3 weeks' time, we will have a healthy grid again, and that will bring us a very exciting second half of the season here at the FSR World Championship. So after the Pro Championship concluded earlier today, double duties completed in the earlier show, so I hope that was a good stream as well. But from ourselves in the World Championship broadcast, Remco Zeuuw, broadcast director, myself, Eoin Harmon, and David O'Reilly in the commentary box. Thank you so much to all our viewers for tuning in to a truly magical race, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye now.